Welcome to the only daily podcast focusing on compliance news of the day. Each morning, start your day with a cup of coffee and Tom Fox, the voice of compliance, to hear about 4 of the top compliance, corruption, or leadership stories you will need to start your day. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network.
February 20, 2021, the Daily Compliance News. I want to thank everyone who contacted me via email, text, LinkedIn, or any other mechanism for the kind thoughts that you sent to myself, my fellow Houstonians in Texas during the weather emergency we had for the past week. It's the most heartfelt thanks. The compliance community is perhaps the greatest community I've ever been a part of. Today, our lead story is an op-ed piece from Lucy Kellaway in the Financial Times, which is the golden rule of management and how telling staff to buck up during the coronavirus health crisis breaks that rule. She, of course, cited to former UK KPMG chairman Bill Michael and his well-known kerfuffle, but Jeremy Mayhew, a senior member of the City of London's government, told his staff to stop feeling sorry for themselves, as at least they have a job. So what does both of these statements, how do they violate the golden rule of management? If you are above someone in the pecking order, you must never tell them off for moaning. It only makes it worse. They're going to double down. Your job as management is to motivate and not to bring unnecessary or even unwanted and unfair criticism. So a great op-ed piece. Lucy, of course, was a former columnist for the FT, and now she's a contributing editor and founder of New Tech, an organization that helps experienced professionals return as teachers. Also from the United Kingdom, big story as reported in the Wall Street Journal that Uber drivers are entitled to workers' rights, including minimum wage and holiday pay. The UK Supreme Court ruled. The top UK court ruled that they are employees because of the control that Uber has over them, and it sets really a worldwide precedent for Uber drivers being Uber employees. Uber, of course, has fought this case tooth and nail, and they see it as the end of their business model. Such pronouncements are always way over the top, and I'm sure Uber will figure a way to work it. But the reality is that Uber controls the work conditions and environment of these employees. Interestingly, the court said that Uber drivers begin to work for Uber when they clock on. Uber had claimed they only worked for Uber when they were driving. So big win for Uber employees. In some of the most interesting testimony we've recently seen on Capitol Hill, there were hearings into the GameStop, Robinhood imbroglio that recently happened, and of course the social media outcry for this and from this. On the platform Reddit, one quote that struck me the most was "Something very wrong happened here." And the most interesting testimony was perhaps from the head of Robinhood, who claimed that no one put pressure on them to stop the trading. They may have made some mistakes, but c'est la vie. And capital requirements were something they were aware of, and they worked very hard to keep up. And so despite the fact that they cut off sales and activity in GameStop, with no notice, they didn't violate any rules. They were just bad boys. So it's going to be interesting to see how this continues to play out in the market and in the regulatory environment of the Biden administration. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network and a proud member of C-Suite Radio. Thanks so much for listening. I hope you'll join me again tomorrow.